A very good evening to all of you and welcome to the news tonight, where we get you the day's top stories from India and across the world in the next 30 minutes. I'm Tracy Shilchi and here are the headlines. Greece is seeking a last-minute deal before defaulting on a huge IMF loan. Defiant Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras says he won't pursue austerity measures at any cost. It's a mixed bag of by-poll results across 5 states. Jayalalitha wins the RK Nagar seat to return as the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. CPM and Congress win 2 seats each, while the BJP retains Garod in Madhya Pradesh. Enforcement Directorate approaches Singapore and Mauritius for help on letter rogatories in regard to the probe against former IPL chairman Lalit Modi. Corruption allegations against another Maharashtra minister. State Finance Department objects to 191 crore fire extinguishers contract that was cleared by Education Minister Vinod Taude. And India overcomes opposition from China, brings Pakistan under monitoring of the Asia-Pacific Group. Decision to allow UN to enforce terror offence-related sanctions. All right, but first let's start with the top international story. Greece is trying to secure a last-minute debt deal for 2 years to avoid a default. The Greek government's time runs out on Tuesday to repay a huge debt from the IMF. The finance minister has admitted that it's impossible for Greece to pay the €1.5 billion amount before the deadline ends later tonight. In a referendum next Sunday, Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras is seeking to find out whether to stay with the euro or face consequences.
Time has almost run out for Greece to avoid default, failing to repay a huge IMF loan by Tuesday. The finance ministry said Greece would not be able to pay the debt of €1.6 billion to the IMF. However, they are still not ruling out any possibility of a last-minute deal. If EU offers a deal even on Tuesday night, Greece is ready to pay its debt on the day of the deadline.
Confident that the Greek will understand.
We're not populists. We're trying to do the right thing by the people.
Reports suggest that Greece is planning to request a fresh 2-year bailout deal from the Eurozone. This might call for aid from European Stability Mechanism. If Greece accepts the deal, it will free up cash to repay the debt.
It is time for Greece's political leaders to shoulder their responsibility, to tell their people what is really at stake.
A defiant Greek PM Alexis Tsipras stands firm on his decision to hold a referendum on Sunday. He refuses to pursue austerity even if Greece votes yes on the referendum to decide Greece's future in Eurozone.
Με σχέδια λιτότητας που θα μας οδηγήσουν στο να μην σηκώσουμε κεφάλι, στο να φεύγουν κατά χιλιάδες οι νέοι άνθρωποι στο εξωτερικό, στο να έχουμε ουραία της ανεργίας και ξανά να πηγαίνουμε σε νέα προγράμματα και νέα δάνεια, αν αυτή είναι η επιλογή, τότε θα τη σεβαστούμε αυτή την επιλογή, δεν θα την υπηρετήσουμε εμείς.
As the clock ticks away, all eyes are on EU leaders and Tsipras, whether they can work out a last-minute deal to end the crisis. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, for more on this, let's speak to Yatish Rajawat, senior journalist joining us from the capital this evening. Yatish, thanks so much for joining us again on News Tonight. Could we see Greece being perhaps the first developed economy to be defaulting on an IMF loan tonight?
I don't think so because, they might get a technical waiver. It's just a date and which expires this midnight according to Greek time. So I don't think so they will default on it, but there are larger issues at play here, and which is, of course, the referendum. And the very fact that, Greece has been caught in a debt trap, and none of these, the Troika, so to say, the European Commission, the IMF, and the European Central Bank are refusing to admit it. That is the bigger question here.
All right, just give us a sense really of course, all eyes are really on Greece and what eventually, what kind of a deal can they strike with the EU. But, what could be the ramifications across the world? For example, you saw a knee-jerk reaction even on the Indian markets yesterday, recovering a bit today, but still, what does this mean for, the global scenario as such?
So, I mean, let's handle the Indian situation first because, I mean, that is the immediate concern. We are not directly affected or impacted by this. There may be a little bit of capital flows, and some hedge funds would take the opportunity to, sell and, of course, buy at a lower level. But that does not reflect anything on our equity markets or on the condition of our stock markets or on the impact per se. There may be the reason that is cited for this sell-off is, of course, the fact that there will be a currency fluctuation, particularly in the euro itself, and therefore it will have a spill-off effect on the Indian currency. Therefore, it's wiser to book your profits and buy back at a later valuation. On the global side, there are much more important issues at stake here. One of the biggest issue is that what happens to the European Union per se. When the Union was formed, there was no fallback if a country wanted to exit it. So everything now, the referendum is also based on this, that should we remain with the European Union, continue in it. Now, because when they formed the Union, they did not think about countries exiting it or countries feeling pressure to, not remain inside it, political governance changing in a country which is deciding otherwise. That's the bigger issue within Europe. I wouldn't like to kind of, broach the subject of what will this have an impact on the global scenario, because that's too long a discussion.
Yes, that's right. All right, but you're of course hopeful that there may be some deal that they could work out sometime later, if not tonight, maybe by tomorrow, because what you're seeing is it's just a deadline of a day, and something could be worked out. That's what you're hopeful for?
Yeah. It's a technical deadline which is... Yeah. So it's a technical deadline which is linked to a loan which is given to a country which is going through a very bad phase. And this is a classical debt trap situation that Greece is in. The lenders have imposed such a condition which the country actually has suffered a depression of sort. The economy has shrunk by 25%. Unemployment is at 25%, which is a peak for an advanced country like Greece. They are unable to pay this amount. The amount which was given to them ostensibly for the purpose of rejuvenating the economy has failed to do that. So, there is something fundamentally wrong here. I give you a loan with the purpose that you will use it to rejuvenate the economy. But what I'm doing is I'm borrowing more and more to repay back the existing loans. So, this whole structure doesn't make sense. So, somewhere there will be a laxity and they would have to accept the fact that on this technical point of this deadline on IMF loan, they will agree.
All right. We'll leave it there for now, Yatish.
But the referendum is the bigger question which happens on this Sunday.
All right. We'll leave it there for now, Yatish. Thanks so much for joining us with those details there. Of course, everyone's, hoping for that last-minute deal for Greece. Markets, reacting positively today in India. The crisis, remember, sparked a sharp fall on Monday. Sensex recovered from the loss today, gaining 135 points, ending at 27,780. Nifty also ending 50 points up after a loss of 63 points yesterday. However, oil prices fell in Asia today, tracking the sell-off in global equity markets on fears of a Greek debt fallout. Asian equity markets and the euro faced sell-offs at the start of the week after Greece broke off the deadlock talks with creditors over the weekend. Something about those oil prices we'll get on to a little later, but now on to national politics. There was no major surprise in the result of by-polls to 6 assembly seats in 5 states today. AIADMK Chief Jayalalitha won the RK Nagar by-poll by a huge margin to ensure that she stays on as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, CPM won both seats in the traditional bastion of Tripura, where BJP dislodged the Congress from the second spot. Here are the details.
When Jayalalitha returned as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, she needed to win an assembly seat before 6 months from her acquittal in the DA case. A fellow AIADMK leader stepped down to pave way for her chance to ensure that. And she sailed to victory by a margin of 150,000 votes. However, this euphoria could be short-lived if the Supreme Court rules against the Karnataka High Court order when it hears a plea against her acquittal next week. There were 5 other assembly seats at stake in 4 states. In Tripura, CPIM proved it's still strong enough by winning both seats. For the BJP, though, there was a silver lining even in a loss. The party toppled Congress from the second spot. It also retained the Garod seat in Madhya Pradesh. Meanwhile, Congress wrested the Chokot seat from GNC in Meghalaya and retained the Arvikara seat in Kerala for the UDF.
10,000 majority Congress candidate, UDF candidate Sri Shabarinath has won that election. This is a clear indication for the future elections of Kerala. Also, this reflects on the negative politics played by the left parties, especially the main opposition, the CPM, RSS party.
Congress's Kerala MP Shashi Tharoor attributed the win to the young party leader K.S. Sabrinathan. The victory comes at a crucial time for Congress when it's confronting an array of corruption allegations in the state. The win could also boost the morale of the alliance facing anti-incumbency in the state assembly polls next year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now for more updates from across the country, here's Nationwide. Petrol and diesel prices have been reduced by less than a rupee today. Petrol will cost less by 31 paise, while diesel will be cheaper by 71 paise from midnight tonight. The fall comes after reduction in international oil prices and appreciation of the rupee. This is the first reduction in petrol price after 3 successive raises. Airbus expressed its interest in participating in the Make in India initiative in the defence and space sectors. Airbus's CEO Bernard Gewert called Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, and during the meeting, the two discussed various projects on offer from Airbus. The Bombay High Court has allowed Nestle India to export Maggi noodles. The decision comes after the FSSAI said it had no objection to the company selling the product abroad. 9 variants of the product was banned in the country for being hazardous to public health. Meanwhile, the FSSAI and other respondents filed affidavits to oppose Nestle's petition seeking relief from the ban of Maggi products. In a relief to Telangana TDP MLA Revant Reddy, the Hyderabad High Court today granted bail to him and 2 others in the cash for vote scam case. The court directed all 3 accused to furnish a personal bond of 5 lakh rupees each and 2 sureties of the same amount. Seeking bail, Reddy contended that it is a politically motivated case and he is being falsely implicated. With that, a quick break here, but still ahead, Congress demands CBI probe into the Vyapam scam in Madhya Pradesh after 25 people linked to it die under mysterious circumstances.
Allowing foreign firms into the legal sector. A long-pending issue in focus again. What checks must be drawn up, and how would the move impact the justice system? Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, Congress today dismissed all denials by the BJP on the ownership of the Dholpur Palace, insisting the Rajasthan Chief Minister, Vasundhara Raje, should be sacked for a criminal nexus between her family and former IPL boss Lalit Modi. In fact, Congress released fresh documents to prove its claims. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate also stepped up its investigation into a case involving Modi.
The Enforcement Directorate took forward its case against former IPL chairman Lalit Modi. On Tuesday, it sought legal assistance from Singapore and Mauritius. The ED is investigating the alleged laundering of funds in awarding media rights by the IPL in 2009. On the political front, the Congress also flagged more details on the Dholpur Palace controversy. Senior party leader Jairam Ramesh reiterated that available documents indicate that the palace belonged to the state government.
धौलपुर पैलेस, धौलपुर महल सरकारी संपत्ति है जिसको वसुंधरा राजे जी, उनके बेटे, उनके बहू और ललित मोदी ने एक निजी जायदाद के रूप में बदला है.
In a spirited press conference, the Rajasthan BJP refuted the allegations.
अगर दस्तावेजों से वो प्रमाणित कर दें कि धौलपुर महल की मलकियत के अंदर किसी प्रकार की अनियमितता है या वो धौलपुर का महल सरकार का है, तो या तो वो राजनीति से संन्यास ले लें या मैं राजनीति से संन्यास लेने को तैयार हूं।
The Congress is claiming that Rajya's son Dushyant was compensated to the tune of 2 crore rupees on a highway project built on government land around the Dholpur Palace. Other opposition parties question Prime Minister Narendra Modi's silence on the controversy.
BJP as a political party is in crisis. The Narendra Modi government is in crisis because what Sushma Swaraj has done or what Vasundhara Raje has done or what Smriti Irani has done is a gross violation of probity in public life.
An ED team from Mumbai is reaching Singapore to gather leads in connection with alleged foreign exchange violations. Modi and 13 other BCCI IPL officials and other private entities are named in the deal. The ED, in a show-cause notice issued in February this year under the Foreign Exchange Management Act, charged Lalit Modi with sending fraud emails and being a suspect beneficiary of illegal funds worth 125 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in more headache for the BJP, days after MLA Pankaja Munde courted controversy over awarding contracts without following the due process, another minister of the Maharashtra government is facing similar allegations. Education Minister Vinod Taude has been accused of awarding the contract for providing fire extinguishers to government schools without issuing tenders.
Education Minister Vinod Taude has become the second minister of the Maharashtra government to be caught up in a controversy regarding financial irregularities in the award of contracts. Taude is alleged to have awarded the contract for fire extinguishers for schools without a tender being issued. Following the accusations, the opposition Congress came out on the streets of Mumbai demanding the resignations of both Taude and Pankaja Munde.
This is why we don't believe in the Chief Minister's office, and we never expected that it would happen that suo motu there will be an inquiry, because all the documentation is with him. So that is why we have opted to give all the documentation what we are having, whatever we have got from RTI and various other sources that we have submitted to the ACB, and we demand an open inquiry.
But the ruling BJP is standing firmly behind its ministers. State Finance Minister Sudhir Mungantiwar, whose department raised objections to the said contract, says there is no cause for controversy and that it was just a conspiracy to defame the government.
अगर पैसा देना रहता तो वो तो 2 दिन में दिया गया रहता, 10 दिन में, क्योंकि पैसा था, पैसा व्यवगत हुआ, फिर भी 1 रुपया नहीं दिया. तो मुझे लगता है जहां इतनी नियत स्फटिक की तरह पारदर्शिता के साथ साफ हो, उस पर ऐसी शंका लेना ये राजनीतिक षड्यंत्र है.
सर 191 तो छोड़ो, हमारे पास जो 16 करोड़ शिक्षा डिपार्टमेंट का बचे थे उतनी भी हमने खरीदी नहीं की. हमने तो उल्टा हमारे पास जो पैसे थे उससे हम 16 करोड़ की परचेस कर लेते तो भी फाइनेंस ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं लेता.
In January this year, the Finance Department of the state had stopped a 191 crore rupee purchase order for fire extinguishers for government-run schools, an order issued by Taude's ministry. Taude rubbishes the allegations, saying no money has been paid so far. BJP's alliance partner Shiv Sena has said the ministers should not be scared of an inquiry if they were innocent, also saying that it favoured their stepping down for now. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Congress General Secretary Digvijay Singh today approached the Supreme Court seeking a CBI investigation monitored by it into irregularities involving the Madhya Pradesh Professional Examination Board. So far, 25 people involved, both accused and witnesses, have died under mysterious circumstances in what is also known as the Vyapam scam. Digvijay Singh said that the special investigation team of the state police that's currently investigating the scam has expressed helplessness in the matter. The Congress claims the scam allegedly involves top police officials, civil servants and judiciary, BJP and even RSS leaders. The state BJP, though, has denied the charge.
25 व्यक्तियों की मौत हुई है, तो हमने एसटीएफ को इसलिए निर्देशित किया कि एसटीएफ जांच के दौरान इस चीज को सुनिश्चित करे कि इनमें से किसी भी मौत का कोई व्यापम कांड से तो संबंध नहीं. तो एसटीएफ अपनी जांच में इस चीज को सुनिश्चित कर रहा है. अभी तक उन्होंने जो हमको रिपोर्ट दी है, उस रिपोर्ट के अनुसार किसी भी मौत का व्यापम कांड से संबंध नहीं निकला.
ये सबसे बड़ा घोटाला है और इसमें बहुत बड़ी ताकतें लगी हुई हैं और मैं समझता हूं कि माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट को इस पर अब तरजीह देना चाहिए.
And now, after a downhill journey that has been prolonged due to economic factors, the Indian auto industry is eyeing a smoother ride this fiscal. There has been a 6 to 8% growth in passenger cars and utility vehicles so far this fiscal. Here's a special report.
After a prolonged period of high costs, price wars and retrenchment, India's auto industry looks like it is back on the road to recovery. Interest rate cuts and persistently low oil prices are at the back of this recovery. In 2014-15, over 2.3 crore vehicles were manufactured in the country, 8.68% higher than the vehicles produced in 2013-14. This included passenger and commercial vehicles, three-wheelers and two-wheelers. Domestic passenger car sales grew 18.14% to almost 1.6 lakh units in April-May 2015, compared with more than 1.3 lakh vehicles in the corresponding period a year ago. The industry also recorded a growth of 14.89% in exports at nearly 36 lakh vehicles in 2014-15.
We would be one of the best countries as far as the growth is concerned, and the manufacturers are here. So I'm quite bullish. You see, if the economy grows at 7, 8%, 9%, the purchasing power is improving.
After facing the searing heat of cheaper Chinese imports, the Indian auto component industry is also boasting of a revival. The component sector reported 11% growth in 2014-15 to reach a turnover of Rs 2.34 lakh crore, up from 2.11 lakh crore a year ago.
Now we are expecting even a better figure in this year because all the manufacturers, they are geared up with some of the new models.
Experts feel that efficient logistics management may further boost the auto sector's growth prospects.
We as an industry require a lot of logistics integration, and the quality of road, ports, even electricity is very, very appalling, if I may use the word. There is definitely improvement happening, but a lot needs to be done.
The Indian auto industry is one of the largest in the world and accounts for 22% of country's manufacturing GDP. The sector is also one of the biggest job creators, and it is estimated that every job created in an auto manufacturing company leads to 3 to 5 indirect ancillary jobs. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, so on to some international news then. Despite strong opposition from China, India has succeeded in bringing Pakistan under monitoring of the Asia-Pacific group. The decision will enforce UN sanctions against underworld don Dawood Ibrahim, 2611 mastermind Zakir Rahman Lakhvi and Lashkar founder Hafiz Saeed. Earlier during the meeting of Financial Action Task Force in Australia's Brisbane city, China stood by Pakistan asking India to back off. However, India has been insisting that Pakistan should seize the assets of Dawood, Lakhvi and Hafiz Saeed, as all three are included in the UNSC's Al-Qaeda sanctions list. Now, in an escalation of Islamic State attacks against Shia Muslims, a bomb attack on Houthi rebel leaders in Yemen have left 28 dead. The group, which marked the first anniversary of the declaration of its caliphate in Iraq and Syria, has been ramping up its deadly attacks in Yemen. Its record of brutality and barbarism is reaching even newer lows and is spreading its tentacles in other countries. Here's more.
More violence and strife torn Yemen. Close to 28 people were killed and 35 others injured in a car bombing in capital Sana'a on Monday night in an attack claimed by the Islamic State. The blast, which went off behind Sana'a's military hospital, apparently targeted a group of mourners. The Islamic State has already claimed responsibility for a number of bombings in Sana'a this month. The violence comes at a time when a Saudi-led coalition has been fighting Houthi rebels for months without any sign to end this war, especially after the failure of talks among Yemeni political parties in Geneva.
الذي حصل الساعة 11:30 ما سمعنا الانفجار عنيف بمعنى الكلمة. خرجنا نبشر ضربت البيوت كانوا يعبوا الناس في السيارة هذا قالوا سيارة إيكو حطوها هنا تقريبا الساعة 8 أو 9 وهي مجنبة هنا.
Meanwhile, in another West Asian country, Syria, the Islamic State beheaded 2 women, the first instance of decapitating female civilians. Experts say that in view of the group adding more episodes to their gruesome incidents, the US needs to readjust its strategy towards it.
المملكة وحدها ولكن يهم في الواقع دول العالم كله لأن يعني مصدر تجاري وحساس ومصدر اقتصادي وتجاري وحساس جدا بالنسبة للعالم جميعا. نرفض أن يذهب أحد إلى مناطق الصراع في العراق وسوريا. هناك عملية حصانة أو حماية للشباب.
In 1 year since it proclaimed itself an Islamic caliphate in the Middle East, the Islamic State has captured major cities in Iraq and has made strategic gains in Syria. It is expanding operations in Saudi Arabia, Libya, Algeria, Yemen, Europe, Asia and the United States, while also seizing substantial territory in Afghanistan for the first time, wresting areas in the east from rival Taliban insurgents. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are other international news and updates in Global Buzz. A suicide bomber targeted a convoy of NATO troops near the US Embassy in Kabul today. At least 5 civilians were killed while 24 others were reportedly injured. Security forces have cordoned off the area for precautionary measures. The latest WikiLeaks reports claim that US National Security Agency wiretapped the communications of 2 French finance ministers who headed the ministry from 2011 to 2014. The website also claims the ministers were targeted in an apparent bid to seek information on economic policy, exports and trade. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif and US Secretary of State John Kerry reached Vienna to seal a deal on Tehran's nuclear program. However, they are set to miss the deadline set for Tuesday tonight. The talks will continue past deadline for an agreement extended to lift Iran's international sanctions. At least 45 people have been killed after a military transport plane crashed into a residential area in Indonesia's Medan city. The plane crashed shortly after takeoff with more than 100 people on board. Officials fear that the death toll could rise. A major rescue operation is on to look for survivors. Let's change tracks and now let's get you some sporting action in Sportsbeat. Australia will host the first day-night test in November when they meet New Zealand at the Adelaide Oval. The third and final match of the series will be played with a pink kookaburra ball. Cricket Australia Chief Executive James Sutherland has expressed hope that the idea would increase interest in the game. On day 2 of Wimbledon, second-seeded Roger Federer made a winning start to his bid for the 9th title. He defeated Bosnia's Damir Zumhur in straight sets. In the women's singles, defending champion Petra Kvitova took just 35 minutes to move into the second round. She won 6-1, 6-love against Kiki Bertens. Kvitova will either face Poland's Magda Linette or Kurumi Nara of Japan in the next round. Hosts Chile have reached their first Copa America final in 28 years. In the semi-final, the hosts defeated a 10-man Peru team 2-1. Goals from Eduardo Vargas and Gary Alexis Medal's own goal helped Chile reach the final. Chile will now play the winners of tonight's semi-final between Argentina and Paraguay. Guus Hiddink has stepped down as the head coach of the Netherlands within 10 months of taking charge. Hiddink had a contract until the end of Euro 2016. He began his second spell in charge in August. Hiddink lost 5 and won 4 of his 10 matches while in charge. That's all we have for you on the news tonight from the entire team here. Good night.